How's it going, everyone? In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly how I use chart analysis, specifically the supply and demand methodology, in order to find long-term dividend investing opportunities. And I hope this video helps. And if it does, leave a thumbs up and check out the links in the Patreon and the YouTube membership below if you want more help with your investing. All right, so first, before we get into exactly what I'm doing, I just want to show you a live example of a investment position I took the other day. This is a daily chart of Coca-Cola. As you can see in the top left, it is a daily chart. I found this demand zone right here. Let me just mark it out so that you guys can see it right there. This is a daily chart, remember, like I said, top left. And basically I was looking to add on to my dividend investing position in Coca-Cola because it is a long-term company. And essentially what happened here was price push up. I identified the demand zone right here, and what I did is I saved almost 2.5% by buying down here instead of just buying randomly at the top. And then now I'm up 3%. So essentially I saved 2.5%, and now I'm up a little over 3%, I believe, on this position. So I'm just basically showing you guys an example of the power of what I'm doing and how much it can really save you. But at the end of the day, you do need a plan. There's only a select few of stocks that I do feel comfortable dividend investing in, and you basically have to pick companies that you believe are going to be around in a very long time. Just for example, some of the ones that I look at are Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Walmart, Apple, maybe Intel, Microsoft. There's quite a bit of them. Google's another one. So this strategy, what I'm applying, works. It's not really a trading strategy. It's the same thing as a trading strategy, but with trading, we would essentially have I would have a stop loss under here, and that would have worked too. But for these and this investing that I'm doing, I don't have a stop loss. I'm simply just averaging down. So basically, I saved 2.5% by buying right here, and then if price comes down, that's fine. I'll just average down lower, and then my average price will become lower, and that's fine with me because I do believe Coca-Cola long term is just a great hold. So one of the first things you need to do is, if you feel comfortable actually dividend investing, find some stocks and companies that you believe in long term. They don't have to be the exact same ones that I look at, but they can just be ones that you also like. All right, now we're going to look at another example, and this is a very nice example. As you can see here, we are looking at McDonald's 3-month chart. I applied my methodology, and I found a demand zone there and a demand zone here as well. I did not take these, full disclosure. This is after the fact. To have a move down like this in Coca-Cola is pretty rare on a 3-month chart. We all know what this is. I can't mention it or I'll probably get banned on YouTube. But essentially what happened here is price came down into a gorgeous looking demand zone right here. So you could have bought this zone, and then you could have bought this zone here. And as you can see on the right side, I have all the details. We saved 23% by buying at the first demand zone, this one here, instead of buying randomly, because what happens a lot is your financial advisors, or maybe if you're just doing it on your own, maybe every Thursday you deposit money into your account, and then maybe you buy some stocks every Friday or something like that. But just by holding cash and getting these huge savings, it's well worth it, and your returns will be maximized. So as you can see, we saved 23% by buying at the first demand zone, and then we saved another 40% by buying at this bottom one here. So basically from here to here we saved 20%, and then from here to here, that's 40%. And then the return is 50% in 18 months, not including dividends either. And that's if you had bought the same amount of shares at both zones. So say if you bought 10 shares here and then 10 shares here, your average price probably would have been somewhere around here, and then that return is 50% in only 18 months. So it's pretty crazy, where if you would have just bought randomly, maybe your return is only half of that. So basically the whole idea of this video is just kind of show you guys how to maximize your profits by doing this and being patient and sitting on your toes. And that's why I also created the Patreon for dividend investing, where basically I'm going to be completely upfront with where I am buying and where I am selling for dividend investing, even though I probably won't be selling too much, but essentially what it is, and I highly recommend it.
is you can also message me too for, say if you want to invest in Intel or something like that and you don't know where to buy. Well, if you sign up for this, I can essentially mark out a chart, and it's not financial advice, but I could maybe just say, oh well, I would probably only feel comfortable buying it like down here, and I can essentially identify those zones for you. And with the Patreon too, I will be fully transparent where I am buying. So if I see a setup on McDonald's on the 1 month chart or something, then I'll say I am placing an order here at McDonald's. You can as well. It's not financial advice, but this is exactly what I'm doing. So I highly recommend that. If you're interested, check it out. Links in the description. There's also the YouTube membership option if you don't feel comfortable going over to Patreon. With that being said, I hope to see you there, and we're going to move on to a different one here. This is a same situation on Coca-Cola. This is a larger chart. This is a monthly chart here, but we all know what happened with this huge drop down. And then people, I'm sure a lot of you guys wanted to, I want to buy it. Everything's on sale, right? Well, the problem is, where are you going to buy? Are you just going to buy on red days? No, there was a nice buying opportunity right here. And as you can see, price, it blew right through that zone, but that's fine because we saved 20% by just waiting to buy at that demand instead of buying randomly or when there was a small red day. A small red day. And the return from here to here is 18% in 18 months, not including dividends. And sure, you were down for a lot of this period, but that's fine. If you believe in Coca-Cola long term or whatever stock you want to invest in long term, then it shouldn't matter to you, and then you'll just be collecting these dividends. So I hope you guys are starting to see the power of doing this. And I know maybe I'm getting a little repetitive, but I'm just trying to show you guys the the power of just being patient, sitting on cash, waiting for demand to buy. And that's why I created that Patreon membership or the YouTube membership, in order to help you guys out with that. All right, so on to, how exactly do I do this? I know it's taken a long time, but first I just really wanted to put on a good presentation to really show you guys, the power of this, and to really make sure that, you actually want to learn this. So now I'm going to explain it in pretty good detail. So first of all, you don't really want to be entering for investment positions on anything below a daily chart. Even the daily time frame is a little riskier. It's not super long term, but it is a good place to always average down. So like I said, I don't recommend going below the daily chart. What we're going to be doing is entering either on a daily chart, a weekly chart, or if you come over to my macro charts, on the monthly chart, the 3-month chart, the 6-month chart, and the 12-month chart. That's where we are going to be entering. And essentially, if price falls, we are going to be buying almost every demand zone on the way down. So for example, here on Coca-Cola, I just showed you guys earlier, I bought this for an investment position. So if this zone breaks like that, then what I'm going to do, and what you should do as well, is then just go right down to a daily time frame, and then you should essentially buy the nearest weekly area of demand, and that would be right here. So then this would be another investment position to take on Coca-Cola right there, and so that would bring your average price down. And then let's say you buy here and then some news happens and price starts falling. Well, first of all, you have to have the mindset to think, that's okay. I believe in Coca-Cola long term. Like I said earlier, I only recommend doing this for stocks that you want to hold for, over 10 years, something that you think is going to be around for a very long time. And that'll help you, be okay with being in the red a little bit. So like I said, we're just going to be moving up a time frame every time you buy a zone and then it fails. So let's say we buy this one, it fails, then we're going to be going one time frame up, and this is my macro charts over here, and then we're going to be looking at a monthly zone. So then that would have been this one right here, and that's the one I actually showed you guys earlier. And say that one broke then. Well, now we're going to go to a 3-month chart. And actually on this one, there wasn't really any clean 3-month zones, so that it was kind of a tricky one. So then you would have actually went down to the 6-month, and then there was this one right here. So your average price would have been pretty decently low. And then let's say, something really bad happens with Coca-Cola, it tanks like that. Well, then I'm going to be, sorry about that, then I'm going to be going down to my, my largest time frame, which is my 12-month time frame, and I'll be buying this at about 42.96. And then, if something really bad happens and it falls down, then there's many more opportunities. I don't think it can really go that low, but there's plenty more opportunities to average down. So hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm saying, and
if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments down below, but I think I'm being as clear as possible. So essentially, to break it down again, we're only entering on the daily chart minimum. You can actually only enter on the weekly chart if you really want to, but the daily chart, we buy the zones in the daily chart, and then once that fails, we go to the weekly chart, buy the zones in the weekly, and then and so on. Then we go to the monthly, the 3-month, the 6-month, and the 12-month. And these are this is my macro chart. I have all my drawings out for my macro charts, and I think with TradingView, if that's what you use, you have to be like a Pro Plus member to get these charts like this. So if you're not a Pro Plus member, that's another good reason to join the investing Patreon or YouTube membership, because you will get a link to this chart like this. So essentially, I'll send you the link, and then you will get the link to this chart, and you will be able to see all these zones on all these charts and stocks, and then you can ask me to do a custom analysis on these larger time frames for any stock you want, and I can do that as well. So it's kind of a bummer that it doesn't give you the option to view these time frames for the free trading view, but for only the $15 CAD per month, it's a lot cheaper than the Pro Plus membership in order to get these time frames to look at to invest in. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm pretty sure I explained it about as well as I can. If it's not clicking with you, like I said, just send me an email or send me a message on Discord. I'll be more than happy to help you out. And it's a great way to average down by doing this with these macro charts. Alright, so now on to the final summary and just a few final tips. But before, if you are liking this video, at least hit the like button. It'd be much appreciated. And hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more about this kind of stuff and you want help with your investing. If you want to learn how to draw these zones and find, supply and demand zones, I have a tips playlist. I'm pretty sure there's a video in there. And there's a lot of other good YouTubers you can learn this from if you want to do it on your own. But, if you want help, definitely check out the Patreon or the YouTube membership for that. But getting right into it here, the final tips, you want to be constantly adding money into your account, right? So, for example, with myself, I believe it's every Thursday, I am putting in some money. I'm not going to discuss how much money, but I'm putting in, a chunk of what I earn into, my dividend investing account, and then I just sit on that cash and I wait for these opportunities. But you have to be constantly doing it. I recommend doing it weekly, if not weekly, bi-weekly, if not bi-weekly, then monthly. But I highly recommend, it's not really going to work unless you continue to put money to your account and then sit on that cash. So that's, tip number 1. Tip number 2, and this is very important as well. If you remember earlier, if you didn't watch the whole video, you got to watch the whole video for this to make any sense. But we enter on the daily chart, the weekly chart, the monthly chart, the 3-month, the 6-month, and the 12-month. Obviously, the 12-month is way higher time frame than the daily, but an important factor to remember is the lower the time frame you're entering on. So, say you're a member and I say I'm going to be buying Coca-Cola at a daily chart like right here, I'm going to be buying way less than if this was a weekly chart. So keep that in mind. The lower the time frame, the lower you're investing, right? So, let's say let's just use dollars for example, right? Let's say you have a lot of money in your account. Well, every daily zone, maybe you're only going to buy $250 worth of Coca-Cola. And then say we come to a weekly zone. Well, then you can buy, maybe double. You could buy $500 worth of it because we're at a weekly chart and it's a bigger discount, right? Because this is a weekly time frame. And then let's say we go to a monthly chart down here. Well, then the higher we go, the higher you can invest because it's a bigger pullback, right? So if you're buying, if you really zoom in here, let's say you're buying little daily zones in here, something like that. You'd be buying with less capital, right? But then but that's why you want to keep putting money into your account for these huge drops, and then you can pile on. Remember how we talked about you could be doing $250 per daily zone, but then let's say price comes down to a monthly zone or a 6-month zone, then you can really start piling on the cash, maybe $1,000, because then you're getting that bigger pullback, and you want to buy more as price drops lower, not less, right? So hopefully that makes sense, and that's a huge factor into that. And then so essentially those are the last 2 tips I have. Just keep putting money into your account so you can sit on cash, so that if we do get a huge pullback like this, you'll have a lot of capital to apply,
and then your returns will be very much more maximized because your average price will be lower because you're buying more as price falls lower on the bigger time frames. So for example here, you could be buying all the way down here, but then if price came down to this 12-month area of demand, you could really pile it on down here. And then if price came even further, then you could pile on even more, right? But it all goes with the idea that this is for long term. This is not trading. This is long-term investing, and the whole time you'll be collecting dividends too. So it's a win-win. But that pretty much sums up everything, guys. I hope this video helped. If it did, leave a like. Check out my channel. Check out my other videos. Hit that subscribe button. And like I mentioned a couple times before, I highly recommend checking out the Patreon membership for the dividend investing, or the YouTube membership for the dividend investing. All the links are in the description. I really hope to see you guys there. I think it would be very beneficial to you guys. And I'm trying to help the community out. I'm trying to help maximize returns, because the average returns are not the best, especially including inflation. So with that being said, check out all those links, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.